to reassemble the entire castle in the next hour.
We're on? Are the people there?
8.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
hello,
people.
hello. We are having an exciting night because we've never done this before, so we are just discovering how to actually go live. So I apologize that we are 1.5 minutes late. I'm Joe Himali with Best to Dress.
I'm Carolyn Muraskin with DC Design Tours.
And this beautiful assembly of Legos it's tragic, yes. This was the Lego sets that I had all assembled, and then when I moved, they were supposed to be carefully moved, and as you can see, it was not terribly carefully moved.
Was that you or someone else?
I'm going to say it was someone else.
Okay.
That's the
I respect the lie.
It's not a lie if you believe it. Isn't that what George Costanza said? I believe.
Sure.
Yes, I think so. Maybe one of our viewers can tell us who said that.
I'm too old for George Costanza.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Millennials, they're the worst.
Yeah. But
anyway,
at least neither of us are boomers.
That's true.
Oh, wait,
That's
are
true.
you?
No,
I don't know what the cutoff is.
I'm Gen X.
Oh, there you go.
But it's a good thing John
people.
DeFerrari's not here because he would be very insulted.
He's very old.
He's but very hip.
Sure.
I don't know.
He's not watching.
Our Gen Z will tell us what the equivalent of very hip is now. What is that? What is that? Nadia, what would you say if somebody's very cool?
Cool's still cool, right?
I still use cool.
All right. Okay. So
I don't know.
Snazzy.
You might want to ask a high schooler that.
Well, we could ask anybody online. Can you?
I hope there are no middle schoolers watching. Go to bed. Eat your dinner, broccoli especially.
And love your parents.
Yeah, and then go to bed.
And then go to exactly.
Brush your teeth, especially.
All right. I think this is that's the Disney Castle.
Someone says cool is chuggy.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So all right, okay. The person who says cool is chuggy, what would be the right term? Can they tell us what the right term is so you're not quite as chuggy? Isn't chuggy now?
I don't like the way you say it.
It
doesn't sound right. I mean, I'm not even.
Okay, how are you supposed to pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it wrong?
I don't know.
I just say chuggy.
I think it's chuggy, but that sounds like a candy bar to me.
Yeah, it
like a bad candy bar, like an almond joy.
Almond joys are good.
No.
Okay, boomer.
Oh, what
Age
you don't?
is showing.
What?
Almond joys are good.
Yeah. When's the last time you were trick or treating, Joe?
When my kid was young enough.
Someone should suggest instead of cool, dope.
Dope. Okay,
But
yeah.
that was
Right there you
when
go.
Yeah.
Dope is good. All right.
That's still in fashion.
Apparently.
It's kind of background.
This is the blind leading the blind.
Exactly. I'm so old, I don't even know. Chugi would
Where am I?
have been gagging with a spoon when I was the appropriate age.
Yeah.
So that's how old I am.
So Joe has tragically let these all get destroyed,
Yes, I did.
and it's
So now we're just trying to
really
sort out
sad.
which one goes. So we have some vague idea. So I'm going to try to
Is this the
That
Disney
is
Castle?
No, that's not Disney Castle because Disney Castle
Oh,
is
look at the
great.
stained glass.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fun.
Yeah, that is the Hogwarts Castle.
Oh, I see. The
Yeah, so if you
houses.
show that, show that.
Yeah, can you guys see that?
Yeah, well,
This is just a Lego commercial. Turns out.
yeah. Well, we're trying to get some
Sponsors.
Sponsors, exactly. Let's get some sponsors going in here.
So the only thing that we're missing, I think, from the U.S. Capitol, which is also a set that I have, is the Statue of Freedom, which is very sad.
Since we have like 5 more boxes that look like this, I'm sure we'll come across it easily.
Yeah, there are more
and quickly.
boxes down here.
Yes.
Which I was pointing out before, say pack like the pros on them, which is ironic. I also have Villa Savoy here by an architect I don't even like, but at least it's a real building.
Well, and it's a terrible. I mean, everybody loves me. Well, that's not Mies van der Rohe. That's the
Yeah.
But I also am not a big fan of his. I'm not really into international style architecture.
Yeah.
I think wasn't his whole plan that it was sort of supposed to be more of a socialist dream about.
They're all about socialist dreams.
Yeah, but in the whole idea that you were going to save the cities by making the highways and then just come into giant concrete structures like Tiber Island.
Yeah, this is like just pre-brutalism.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan. Though there's a whole Instagram called Brutalist DC that some people are, really into the Health and Human Services building, which I learned on a tour. A lot of people refer to as the waffle, which I think is really apt.
I think that is apt. Yes. Yes, it's terrible. And I also am not a big fan of the whole brutalist architectural style in the metro system. I think they could have done something better. All right, we have a question.
What is your favorite kind of architecture and why?
All right, you want to go
Great
first?
question. Yes. So I'm a former architect.
But you're still
and-
a licensed architect.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm definitely not.
Oh, okay.
But I studied architecture and historic preservation, and now I run an architecture tour company. And one of my favorite things about DC is how there are so many different styles. But my favorite style for residential architecture is Queen Anne revival. I love a Queen Anne building. Got the wraparound porch, the wood, the different roof lines.
And the asymmetry and the
I love all
Yeah.
that.
yeah, like the fretwork and all that stuff.
Fretwork. Yep, that should be one of your word of the days.
We should do that.
Fretwork.
Yes. So my favorite architectural style is probably arts and crafts.
That's a good one.
I like arts and crafts. It's sort of a response to that sort of riffraff that people like Queen Anne. If you're déclassé, you may like
I am
Queen Anne.
déclassé.
And
It's on my resume.
that's what
Déclassé.
that's what it says on your tours.
Yeah.
Come on our tours to déclassé.
Déclassé.
Yes. Because I like arts and crafts because I like the idea of using locally sourced materials. And my favorite building, all right, I'll ask you this too, probably my favorite structure anywhere, favorite house definitely is the Gamble House by Green and Green
Yeah.
in Pasadena. Unbelievable.
I've never been there in person.
Oh, it's worth
But do
flying
you
over
have
to.
a video about it?
I do have a couple videos, but the last time I was at the Gamble House, well, 2 times ago was in the pandemic, so we couldn't go inside. So I got to walk around and see all the other Green Brothers buildings that are around there.
That's
And
cool.
if you're one of my followers, then
You
might
better
have-
be.
right, you might have seen the video about clinker bricks. And when I was
I
there,
did see your video about Clinker.
there you go. And there's a wall that the Green Brothers did all in clinker brick. It's freaking amazing. It's just such a.
This is the only live stream where you hear someone describe Clinker brick as freaking amazing.
No, it's not
It's-
one brick. It's a whole wall of
Well, no, I
bricks.
know. What
So-
was the word we just learned? Bougie? No.
No.
Gucci?
No.
What was it?
Dope.
Dope? No, the one before that. Nadia, what was it?
Chugi?
Chugi. Clinker brick is Chugi.
Clinker brick is not
I'm gonna
Chugi.
quit while I'm
All
right.
right.
Anyway, my favorite arts and crafts building in DC is the Edward Lynn Moore Studio.
I
in
knew
DuPont.
you were going to say
Yeah,
that.
well,
Yes.
it's on our tour, but it's it's a little hobbit house.
It's so cool.
I love the handle. That's the salamander
the
door handle.
salamander. And what other building in DC has a salamander on
I
it?
know.
Okay. Wait, does anybody on our stream know? Let's
Ask
see.
it again.
Does anybody on our stream know which building in DC, other than the Morse House, has well, at least one has a salamander? Well, actually,
In the
there
same
might be
neighborhood.
two.
Oh, I think I know.
There are two, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got one.
All right.
Prove your nerdiness, people watching. For some reason.
Nadia's looking at the
Nope.
screen like somebody's going to guess. All right. You tell you
The Hyatt Mansion.
the Hyatt Mansion, and that's on the top of the spire, and you knew that. Well, that's almost Queen Anne. That's more Romanesque revival.
I would call it Romanesque revival.
It is Romanesque
Even a little
revival.
Richardsonian Romanesque.
Yeah. All right. So what's the difference between Richardsonian Romanesque and Romanesque revival?
Richardsonian Romanesque is fatter.
Fatter.
So H.H. Richardson was this huge, like 400-pound person,
Uh-huh.
and his style evokes his heft. So even though he uses Romanesque elements, there's like really low squat arches, like Syrian arches, and then very chubby columns that I imagine would like look like his calves, called colonnettes. So his buildings are
It's
even
nice to know, wait, hold on. It's nice to know you're imagining other architects' calves.
long dead fat architects' calves.
That's
Yep.
hot. That's hot.
I didn't say that. It's not cheesy or hot. But his Romanesque
Those are
buildings
opposites.
are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chugi
Chugi's
means-
bad.
Oh, it means bad. Oh, sorry.
Chugi's like side parts, skinny jeans, like think millennial who's still trying to be really cool.
Wow, Nadia.
You're not trying. It comes
Yeah.
naturally.
Oh no, I'm just not trying. And it has never come naturally. Okay,
You
I'm
don't have
sorry.
to worry about it.
I take back everything I said. I thought Chugi was a good thing.
No.
Anyway,
At least they're not that out of date, even though I'm twice as old as you. But yes,
well, I'm not the one who let my Legos go to seed.
that's true. All right.
The best Richardsonian Romanesque building in DC. This is
Well, I mean,
Not
is you're going to
debatable.
talk, not going to say the Cairo.
no, the old post tower.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Chubby columns.
It's chubby columns, but I guess I really don't. I generally think more residential than I do
What's Trinity
Go.
Church in Copley Square is his most famous.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Sorry, we got off track. What was the what was the question?
What
Favorite
was-
architectural style?
Right.
Oh, okay. Queen Anne, arts and crafts.
Yes.
Okay, what about? That was like residential, but what about like a commercial building or a government building?
My favorite commercial building.
Style
One
or building?
Well, one I know for sure I don't like is international style. I dislike international.
Yep.
Yeah,
Boring build.
but you know, I bought that because I was like, maybe if I build the Lego of Le Corbusier's place, maybe it will inspire me and
You'll
bring
gain
me
an
closer
appreciation.
into it.
You know, I felt that way about Falling Water. Do you have the Falling Water set?
I do have the Falling Water set. All right, here's the problem with these freaking sets. They're all different scales.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
really
annoying.
aggravating.
Right, like
So-
this Capitol, and then the White House, which is broken too. Like that doesn't.
Yeah, the
That
White House
doesn't
is
go.
big. No.
Yeah, it's
and,
big
and,
as the Capitol.
and Le Corbusier's place is the same size as the Capitol. Yeah.
That's nonsense. Come on, Lego.
It
Get it
seriously,
together.
Lego, you need to do better. Do better. Lego.
But you were answering.
Um,
Oh, that was your not
that was
favorite.
my least favorite. Probably okay. Commercial building.
Or government. I mean, any non-house.
Oh, the Capitol building.
Boo! 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 Why?
No, you know what? Actually, probably would be the World War I memorial on the mall.
Oh, the DC War.
The
Memorial.
DC War Memorial,
That's a fun
because it's the right
It kind of looks
scale.
like this.
It does look a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I think it has Doric columns. I don't know.
It does.
Yeah. But the weird thing to me is that people have their weddings there.
I know it's
Which
so
is
awkward.
which is on a war memorial.
I know.
I
It's
just think. I mean, it's pretty, and I guess if you don't really know what it is, that's one
It
thing.
says it right on the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the list of the casualties around the base. I know it's
Right.
awkward,
It
but I
also-
guess there's nowhere else to get married on the mall.
There's literally nowhere else. to
Well,
get
I don't
married.
think you're allowed to get married anywhere else in the mall.
All right, does somebody on the live stream know if you can get married on
I'm
the mall?
pretty sure you can, unless you're like
Want me to Google
military.
Yeah, you should probably Google it. We also haven't said who we are. I'm Joe Himali, and I'm with Best to Dress Group.
I'm Carolyn Muraskin with DC Design Tours.
And this is our very first live stream. So if you're sitting here thinking that we don't know what we're doing,
You're right,
we have no idea what we're doing. But
but Nadia's here, so
she's
It's
going to
good.
keep us on track. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So I think because that World War I memorial is what I think is a more appropriate scale as opposed to my least favorite memorial on the mall, which is the World War II memorial.
really,
I really dislike that. I think that looks almost fascist. It's
I've
so
heard that critique before.
it's so massive
and you know it's designed by an Austrian American person.
No.
Architect.
Okay, I
Frederick
have
St.
an
Florian.
answer.
Okay, what's the answer on whether or not we can get married on the not we a person could get married on the mall.
The DC War Memorial is one of only 3 locations available for wedding ceremonies.
All right, what are the other
locations
2?
Are Jefferson Memorial
Not on the mall.
Lawn and the George Mason Memorial.
Also not on the mall.
All right.
That's
Oh,
the
wait.
tidal basin.
All right, okay. What's the difference between Tidal Basin and the mall?
Are you?
Yes.
The mall is the stretch of land between the Lincoln Memorial and the Capitol,
Right.
about 2 miles with the Washington Monument in the middle. And then the tidal basin is just to the south. It's the big lake, which is like an overflow drain for the Potomac River, and that's all man-made.
Right.
And as you probably know, the mall used to come all the way up to the Washington Monument. So when they extended the mall out to the Lincoln Memorial, they filled in like half the width of the Potomac,
Right.
and then they needed somewhere for the water to go. So they built the tidal basin as like an overflow drain, and it still works that way. So the Potomac has tide, so the water flows into the basin at high tide, and it flows out at
Is
low
that why
tide.
it's called Tidal Basin?
Correct.
Oh my God.
Look at this
I'm so smart. It's a miracle.
So the
that I
tidal
can-
basin is to the south of the mall, and that's where the cherry blossoms are.
Right.
I know you know all this stuff.
Well, the cherry blossoms. We have 2 interesting factoids that we're not going to reveal today, but on the next cherry blossom day, when
Oh.
it gets time to cherry blossom season, we've got some
Do
fun.
we have some fun.
We have some
Joe's
fun.
kicking me under the table.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't want to give it away because then you're just going to talk about it and that won't be secret.
That's true.
Surprise.
But I ruin secrets.
I was
that's my
reading a
shtick.
book. It was spies and bombs and something. In
Oh,
Tenleytown.
Tenleytown. I
Tenley-
sent you that book.
Yeah,
It's like the self-published
the
one.
self-published.
Yeah,
one. It's interesting. And there's some cool facts in there.
it's not
and-
very well cited. I'm like
No.
skeptical as to the.
Well, I mean, maybe he's watching us.
Sorry.
So if
Send me
he-
your sources.
Yeah, I'd be delighted.
At
to
least
find
it's not Judith Helm.
All right. So she's
She's
talking about
dead.
the Tenleytown book. Okay. So Judith Helm's Tenleytown book has got to be one of the most aggravating books to read.
Yeah.
Because she'll be talking about something and reference a topic that comes up like 35 pages later and then doesn't complete the idea. Yeah. It was.
It's
but
only for the nerdiest of nerds with too much time on their hands.
if you have too much time on your hands, it's an excellent choice. But I will say that the other thing to know about it is that I went to the American University archives where they have her archive stuff, and it's a pretty
That's really
remarkable
cool.
trove of things that she has. And she has
Yeah, she was a good researcher.
she was an unbelievable researcher. So I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful, disparaging her. She did some remarkable work, and especially for something that was very difficult to find. All right, I think it's time for us to play Stump the Chump. Is anybody on there, or do we have anybody on the stream? Okay, I don't know.
How many people are on?
14.
Hi,
14 people. We got the rock stars here. Thank you very, very much.
I'm sorry in advance.
We got one good question from there. Anybody else have a good question for us that you can ask us to try to stump us on our architecture or other trivia knowledge about DC history, etc.?
I resent the chump accusation.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said chump, by the way.
Singular. Thank you.
So, is there somebody typing? I see Nadia smiling and looking and about to spring this on us. No?
Nothing quite yet.
It's because they know they can't stump us.
Right, because we are invincible.
Talking about Judith Helms' Teletown book.
All right, so you didn't tell me what your favorite building is in DC, non-residential.
You know the answer.
Are you going to get your picture out of your boyfriend?
This is my boyfriend, Montgomery C. Meeks, Quartermaster General of the Union Army. As a testament to Joe and I's friendship, he got me this. I guess you custom made it.
I had a custom
for my birthday.
Yeah.
Or Hanukkah or something?
No, it's for your birthday.
For my birthday. This is the architect of the National Building Museum, which used to be the pension office. And he is my favorite person in the world, except for my spouse.
And your son.
Oh, and my child. Yeah. He designed the building museum, which is my favorite building in DC. It used to be the biggest brick building in the world. I'll put this way, or I'll just stare at him. He also did the dome of the United States Capitol, Arlington National Cemetery. He's the one who suggested that they take Robert E. Lee's land and bury so many Union troops in the ground that the Lees could never come back, which is such a savage move. I love it. He also did. You knew this was going to happen.
I knew.
The Washington Aqueduct System, which is the first time that fresh water flowed to DC. Just a baller guy.
And the world's largest stone arch, single arch bridge.
That's right.
We have some questions.
Okay, we got questions.
So we have two. I'll let you guys pick which one you want to answer first. The first one is, what is now the biggest brick building in the world?
Ooh.
And then the second one is, any regional differences between arts and crafts? Are there different styles?
Ooh, that's a great question. The largest brick structure, or Bill, what is the exact question?
What is now the biggest brick building in the world?
What is now the largest brick building in the world?
I have no idea.
Well, we have to guess. We're going to get stumped here. But since there's only one chump, it only matters.
This is not specific to DC. I think Nadia should Google it.
No, we're not. No, we gotta come on now.
Cheating.
Largest brick building in the world.
So it couldn't be Monadnock, although that would be the tallest brick building. So I know that.
There's also a question of is it built of brick or is it just faced in brick?
Oh, come on now.
I mean, I'm just.
We're hedging our bets.
Yeah,
so,
well, just because I don't know.
All right. So what do we think? Would it be in the United States? How modern? I mean, I don't think it'd be super modern because they would have done it in faced and
right.
Not really. So it has to be before they built the curtain wall structure. So probably
18.
Hagia Sophia.
Oh, no, that's not brick, is it?
I don't know.
What about the building in Pioneer Square? It was one of the first skyscrapers in Seattle, and it's built in brick. I think it's called the Pioneer Square building.
All right. Did the person give us the answer?
Google it for us.
All right.
Should I Google?
Let's do Google. I'm going to go with Hagia Sophia.
That's not made of. Is that brick?
I don't know. Well, or the Colosseum. Maybe it was originally, but now it's been destroyed. So
Yeah,
it's only 2/3 the size.
I think Google should tell us so we stop making fools of ourselves.
Someone said, I heard there's a really big brick building in China. Some sort of really good wall.
Never heard of it.
What is it? A little wall or is it?
It's a pretty great
the
wall.
Questioner says the Malbork Castle in Poland is what Google said.
Malbork Castle in Poland.
Okay.
All right.
When was that built?
Yeah.
Googler.
All right. So then the question is there a difference in the arts and crafts style around the country? And the answer to that, I think, is yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the whole idea behind the arts and crafts movement is to use locally sourced material. and used local artisans. It was sort of the whole build local sort of movement before that was an actual thing. So
so on the East Coast, there's like more like stickly construction
Right.
or wood construction. On the like middle of the country, it's more like clay and brick. And then I guess East Coast probably is also West Coast. I mean, it's because of all the timber.
yeah, it's timber. I mean, like the Gamble House is probably the most famous arts and crafts building on the West Coast. And on the East Coast, I mean, the really cool building is on my Tennytown tour, which is the Dunblane, not Dunblane.
Right, but
Dunblane. So Dunblane, it's really awesome. It's privately owned, so you can't get in there, but it's a freaking amazing
Unless
building.
you're Joe.
Well, not yet. If the owner is on here, I believe it's a woman who lives there now, a single woman. So if she wants to invite us over and see her house, we'd like that very much. Anyway,
what do you bring to the table, Joe?
I bring love of architecture. That's what I bring to the table.
Yep.
Not enough money to maintain that house, because that house must be a bear to maintain, because it's
arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts, yeah. Well, I mean, arts and crafts in and of itself doesn't have to be difficult to
That's
maintain, but
can I pose a different question?
Sure.
Unless there's any questions from our 14 people.
Go for it.
Which order of column are you? So there's 3 orders of columns: Doric, Ionic.
Well, classic order.
Fine. Which class? No, you're not Tuscan.
I'm not Tuscan. I'm also not Egyptian.
No, that's BS.
See, I mean, and that's the things that you have to be careful here, because I'm not of Greek heritage, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
Is it cultural appropriation?
That's the question. I don't know. But
I think you're okay.
I think I'm okay. So if I had,
So what order of column do you have most identified
absolutely Doric.
Why?
Well, I'm gonna let you answer yours, and then I'll tell you why.
I want to be Corinthian, but really I'm Ionic.
Yes.
In a way that like people want to be Gryffindor, but really they're Hufflepuff or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, because as you know, each one of the columns represents a gender. So I certainly am not going to be Corinthian, because that represents maidens. So, and Doric's supposed to be the
But they're
masculine.
fancy, and you're fancy.
They are fancy.
Actually, Joe is wearing gym shorts and bunny slippers behind this table.
So am I?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Just to be clear. Just in case
that was a ploy to get you to do up the high kick.
Just in case Shelly's watching, I'm not wearing bunny slippers and shorts.
I could have said way worse. Okay.
Yes, you could have.
I'm sorry.
So, but an Ionic represents women.
Yeah.
Matronly.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I can't be a maid. I'm not a maiden anymore.
You're not a maiden
I didn't know how to use chuggy, so definitely not a maiden. I think
you're way past maiden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah, exactly. Now you know how I feel every time you play and bass me.
Well, when Nadia's here, then I'm like monkey in the middle. Because Nadia's a child, everyone.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
there she is.
Okay.
Me or baby.
All right.
Anyway, so Doric and Ionic.
Doric and Ionic, but I like Corinthian. All right. So here's the question: would you be fluted or not?
Oh, I'd be fluted.
You'd be fluted. I don't think I'd be fluted.
Why not?
It's too fancy pants. I don't know.
Oh, but it's so fun. I mean, it's slimming.
It's so. What are you saying? Thank you.
For me.
Right. So you're saying I should have fluted?
Get your fluting.
No, I think that Dorics should not be fluted.
That's true. Because Doric columns are stable and.
Including the characteristic of the order, since there's a.
Well, the number of flutes on the column is characteristic of the order, but I personally think that Doric columns should not be fluted. That's just my own personal preference.
Breaking news. Joe Himali. The things Doric column should not be fluted.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is the important conversation that is not being had.
Canceled. Joe is canceled.
No, I can't imagine why we don't have more people watching this.
We're not getting anywhere with these Legos either. All right.
I've gotten a long way. I've discovered, some of the things that go to the different castles.
Oh, good.
So
I've broken your White House more. I think. This should go here.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Are there any other questions there? He asks, hopefully.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't
have
know.
questions.
Have people left?
How is that possible, Carolyn?
There's only one.
With such stimulating conversation we're having. Yes.
Let's just like how we know each other, Joe.
Well, as a birthday present, my team got me tickets to go on your walking tour. And what? Is that wrong? No, I thought you were giving me a.
Someone might have a question soon.
Oh, okay, great. Ask a question, please save me.
Wow. This felt like a softball.
Yeah, no. So, and we went on that, and then
We had a great time.
we had a great time, and it was an unbelievably good tour. And I highly recommend that you go on Carolyn's tours. And after that, I thought, boy,
What a nerd. Let's be
exactly.
friends.
If you get into all the same nerdy crap that I do,
Yeah.
what I remember as we were walking, we were walking along, and I would ask you questions. We went along, and you're the first person that I really talked to who's like knew the answers to all my obscure questions.
thank
We
you.
went along.
It was a
And
great tour.
It was.
And it was the start of a beautiful friendship that I think really peaked with my Montgomery Makes custom frame.
Yeah, and it's troughing right at this very moment. We're at the low point. So I'm glad you're here to witness
So help.
Well, the question is, if you had an unlimited budget, which building would you renovate in DC and why?
it. Ooh,
That's a good one. Good
that's
job.
a very good
Person.
question. My first thought goes to Clara Barton's house.
That's a good one.
But that's not in DC.
Oh, that's a good point. That's not in DC.
That's Bethesda /
Hmm.
/
No, Big Green.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
Big Green.
That's what I
Tell me
would do.
about Big Green.
So Big Green is another one of my nerdy friends is Laura McHale and Katie over at L'Enfant Trust. And most people don't know what L'Enfant Trust is, but if you go down the streets in Washington in the historic district, sometimes you'll see a little brass plaque. It's about this big around, and it's got a star on it. It says L'Enfant Trust, and it's a facade easement. So they're most well known for facade easements. And a facade easement means that you give up the right to modify the exterior of your property, and you get a tax deduction originally, although they really wiped that tax deduction pretty much out.
Oh really?
Yeah, you don't really get anything for it anymore. But so I saw those, and I called Lauren, and it turns out she's as big a nerd about these things as I am and you are. And I went and had coffee with her, and she told me about their new projects that they're doing at L'Enfant Trust, which is to get from DC their abandoned properties
Mm-hmm.
that are in historic districts, and then renovate them and turn them into workforce housing. So Big Green is their largest project to date. It's a multifamily. It's a beautiful Queen Anne.
It's on my Anacostia walking tour,
There you go. And it's a
which
really,
Joe has taken and helped sponsor.
yes, yeah. And we've done some posts about it. So if you want to donate to a worthy cause, you can do that. But if I had all the money, that's what I would do. What about you?
It's a great answer. There's an abandoned building off of Embassy Row that's owned by the Embassy of Pakistan, but it's been abandoned. Do you know the one across from the Brazilian Aeronautical Commission?
Oh, that's not Iranian. Which one is the Iranian one that they?
Oh, that one's also abandoned.
Okay.
But the one that Pakistan owns that's totally destroyed and the bricks are collapsing, it was owned by a Nobel Prize winner who helped to discover how to inject nitrogen into soil to create fertilizer.
Huh.
And then he went on to win the Nobel Prize, and this building is just falling apart. It's a beautiful, sort of vaguely Italian building.
Right.
So that would be on my list. And then there's so many buildings on the Howard University campus
Oh my God,
that
yeah.
need restoration. If I had all the money in the world, I think I would start there actually, on the Howard campus.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Anybody on the screen have a building that they want to? Any of our followers on that are watching, if you have a building that you want to have saved in DC, I'd love to hear what they have. What time is it now? Oh, I'm Joe Himali with Best Address.
I'm Carolyn Muraskin with DC Design Tours.
And this is our first ever YouTube Live. So
It sure is.
if it's obvious, that's why. So
What else you got to do? It's Monday.
exactly. Oh, I found the manual for the Lego shop. See?
Oh, I didn't even realize it was
Yeah,
two-story.
so yeah, it's 2-story. And now I need to find that explains what this other thing was that I discovered. Where did that go?
What are you looking for?
I was looking for the roof to it. I thought I had that.
Well, there's many more boxes. So I am not making a lot of progress.
Yeah,
It's just because the conversation's so stimulating.
as known by the number of people that are watching this right now, which is probably one. All right, how many people do we have?
Bud.
14.
14.
Still oh, they're holding on.
You know what? Those are all of our
Very
relatives.
Loyal
Fan
people
base.
in
Does
your
it-
life.
Hi, Mom.
And I'm paying for the other 13.
I don't think my mom would know how to get on a YouTube live
Yeah.
stream, nor would she know what YouTube means.
No.
which is how this live stream will be described.
Right.
Okay, can I ask you another question?
Yes.
What is your favorite obscure memorial in Washington, D.C.?
My favorite obscure memorial, Nadia, correct me if I'm wrong, when we were driving down on, what is the name of that road that goes by the Potomac River, that's sort of when you want
Ohio Drive?
Ohio Drive, yeah, and right down there,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Spanish-American War Memorial, which is like just a urn,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very small, and
It was moved there from somewhere else,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, I think so. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's obscure. Yeah, what about yours?
Has parking though.
It has parking, exactly, it has parking, which is, considering that the number of times that Nadia and I have gone to go find something, and then we have to park, if you ever go to the lime kilns, and you have
There's
to
a
park.
big homeless encampment on top of them now.
Yeah, which is nice. They get to enjoy the view. But to get down there,
Being used for something.
what's that?
At least they're being used.
Yeah,
At least
totally.
they're being used for something, and I mean, well, in all seriousness, they need to do something about that issue in the United States, Washington D.C.
Well,
too.
The whole United States.
Yeah.
But this is supposed to be fun and lighthearted.
Yes, we're going to skip talking about that, which is a serious thing to talk about. But what about you? What is your favorite obscure memorial?
I think, as you know, probably, my favorite obscure memorial is the Temperance Fountain,
The Temperance Fountain.
which is on Pennsylvania Avenue, right catty corner to the National Archives. And it was built by this guy named Henry Cogswell, who was a dentist, but he wanted to
Of
treat.
course.
Yeah, you saw that coming, right? He wanted to treat the teeth of gold miners. So he's from California, so he went to help gold miners with their dental hygiene, and he was disgusted at what alcohol would do to their teeth. And so he made it his mission to provide fresh water to the masses. And he built these water fountains all over the world and put them in the worst neighborhoods in wherever he was. So DC, you know how Pennsylvania Avenue was called Murder Bay, and it was like the brothels and saloons and the gambling halls. So his idea was that if people had access to fresh water, that they wouldn't drink booze.
Well, obviously.
How do you think that turned out?
Perfectly. That's why we have them all over the place
Right.
now.
Well, most of them have been destroyed. So one was thrown into a lake. In New York City, they melted it down for the World War I effort. In San Francisco, they put it under a road and paved over it, which is pretty cold. But the one in DC is still here. It doesn't work, but it's got a big crane on the top, and it says temperance around the base. And there's these fish, these weird looking fish that used to have water that would squirt out of their mouth. It's really cool. And it's basically just a memorial to this weird dentist.
That's
Gold
pretty
Rush
cool.
dentist.
All right, I think we have another question.
Sorry, that was long.
So Libby would like to know, where was Camp Meigs located and when?
Camp Meigs.
Yeah,
So there was do they mean fort?
probably.
So during the Civil War, I feel like this is a trick question. DC was very
It's not a trick question.
was you know those Meigs people out there.
The real diehard Beats people who trying to catch you out. Yes.
You never know. During this, I'm not sure if this is what you're asking about, but during the Civil War, there were all of these civil fortifications around DC. DC became the most fortified city in the world because we were threatened on all sides. And so one of the forts was named Fort Meigs. It was close to Arlington Cemetery on the Virginia side. And then Meigs himself was stationed for a while at what becomes Arlington Cemetery, which was Robert E. Lee's land, which he intentionally took from Lee and destroyed it so the Lees could never come back because he hated Lee because they had worked together, and then Lee betrayed Meigs and went to fight for the South, so he wanted to punish him. Other cool things about Montgomery Meigs that are not in Washington, D.C., a national park I've always wanted to go to, the Dry Tortugas. Have you ever been there?
I have not.
So when Meigs was pissing everybody off because he was a huge pain in the ass, why I love him, and they sent him
You're
to...
a lucky husband.
Yeah, or other way around. So they sent him out to the Dry Tortugas, which are way off the Florida Keys, to go to detention. Go build a fort out there. So I've always wanted to go there because he spent some quality time there before they called him back to fortify Washington, D.C.
Well, that'd be an adventure.
Dry Tortugas. You can only get there by boat or plane, and you have to
Or
camp.
swimming.
Yes, very robust
Submarine.
swimming. Good point.
Right.
Dinghy,
Yeah.
teleporter, seagull. Get a seagull to, but you have to camp on it, which I think would be really cool. That was a real tangent. Sorry.
If you can see the expression.
I can't see Nadia, actually.
Nadia's expression was
You
like,
have to
can you
camp
please
there?
stop?
Yeah, you have to camp there.
Yes.
No, I'm
No.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm uninviting you.
I like day trips.
Day trips? Yeah, well, I think,
Joe, how does this connect?
It literally just sort of
Oh, it just like rests on
rests
it?
on
Oh,
it,
that's
and
lame.
this goes into the center, so it's going to sit
Oh.
right
I
there.
don't have this set yet. Okay. Wait, and it jogs like that?
Well, maybe that's supposed to be on the other side.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Maybe that's you've got the east wing
Oh,
or the west
cherry
wing is supposed to be. Yes.
That's cute.
Um.
Oh, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Unless there's questions. What is your favorite DC misconception that you like to clear up?
Probably the height restriction.
That's a good one.
Yeah, everybody says the buildings can't be taller than the Washington Monument, which is 555 and 3/4 inch. But is the
1/8,
1/8?
something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. I'm not a mason, so I don't really know the exact. I'm not in the 33rd level of the masonry, so I don't.
Only
really
the 35th level.
know. For degree, is that what it is? They don't call it levels.
They don't let me in.
Yeah, degree. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's 555 and 3/4 inch or something like that.
Okay, but clear up, explain the
So
The height restriction.
which building is it? Or quizzing you, which building is it?
Cairo.
Well, exactly.
Come on.
And who designed the Cairo?
Your mom.
Just
Just answer the damn question, Joe.
So when they built the Cairo, well, and it's funny because I won't be able to clear it up exactly because I don't remember off the top of my head the exact rule that they used for the height restriction at this point. But when they built the Cairo, the neighbors were so disgusted by its height that they put in a height restriction. Go ahead, Nadia.
The exact rules of the height restriction?
Yes.
Is that
Current height restriction. Yes.
the current height? I know back then it was that commercial buildings couldn't be over 110 feet and residential couldn't be over 90.
Right.
So now it's
I-
based on the
but-
width of the street.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is currently, but that was the Height of Buildings Act of 1898.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job, Nadia.
Okay. Now
Wow.
I just want you to know as we sit here, and poor Nadia joined me working with me as an intern and had no idea that she was going to be first to learn the height of the year
She was
of the
pressed
height
into service.
the Height of Buildings Act was enacted in Washington D.C. But now she knows. Now she
And
knows.
she's better for
and
it.
she's much
Right,
better for it.
Nadia?
And
Absolutely.
when she was young and innocent, she didn't know who Ninian Beale was, and didn't know about the Organic
George
Act of
Meade,
1871 and things like that. But unfortunately, now she's been forced into this kind of work.
But she's still here. How many years have you been working for Joe, Nadia?
A year and a half.
Year and a half.
I mean,
It-
that must feel like a lifetime.
Their days, Carolyn.
Well, and you can't see this, but she's growing gray hair now because
Yeah.
I have one.
she,
I have one.
I have one
Child.
I beat my mom though. She started getting them at 22. I made it to 23.
Oh, right, there you go. But it's because you're so much. She was so much wiser than you were. That's why she had the gray hair.
I mean, yeah.
Is she watching? Is that why you're saying that?
I
Is
I
your
don't
mom?
don't know. They have.
Oh, you're second up to 90.
They've been socializing
They've been
recently, so
socializing.
they're at
Well,
a
that's,
neighbor's house.
well,
Oh,
that's good.
good.
Good. Get them out of the house. They don't bother you
They
so
have
much.
work tomorrow.
Yeah,
What
they
if they're
should.
tired?
Did you tell them that?
Yeah, what are you thinking? Come on now. You're old. You need to be home.
Go to
you know?
bed. Take your medicine. Here's your
Exactly.
prune juice. That's what old people do, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
so-
believe you.
He can tell you what he does. And then we can apply that as a generalization.
Warm milk.
Thanks, Nadia. Well, always glad to have your support. Your next paycheck might be a little delayed in arrival, but sure, go ahead. Mock me.
Are there still 14 people, Nadia?
15.
Oh my
15
god, we
We're
did
up.
one.
Woohoo! if we do this for 100 years, we'll have a good following.
Yeah.
You know? Hold on, what time? Are we supposed to say? Yeah, I think we're supposed to say, I'm Joe Himali with Best Address.
I'm Carolyn Muraskin with DC Design Tours.
And
Nadia's falling off her chair.
Nadia's falling off.
I caught it.
It's got it.
Don't worry about
You're like
me.
a cat. I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
We are nerdy historian friends who are fixing Joe's tragic Lego collection together.
What the hell is that?
Oh, I know what that is.
Dude.
That's a roof part for this set,
All right, there you go.
but I don't know where the top is. I'm still working on the White House.
Yeah.
Can I share my favorite obscure history fact?
Yes, please.
DC history fact? There's a lot of them, but one of my favorites actually pertains to the White House. That the White House was totally gutted in 1948. So like the Lincoln bedroom is, the volume of space where Lincoln slept, but everything on the inside was ripped out of the executive mansion between 1948 and 1950 because it was falling down. Because when Harry Truman moved in, FDR died in office, Truman moved in and he was like appalled. Like there were mushrooms growing in the corners and cracks on the ceiling. And then his daughter was playing her piano in her sitting room and the floor collapsed and her piano leg fell through.
But the daughter didn't
She
fall
didn't
in?
involve, no.
Oh.
But so they moved out and there's actually a piano right here. And they commissioned a study. And at the end of the study, the head of the commission said, this is a quote, "The White House only remains standing from force of habit." So they said, oh, just tear it down. And the Trumans were not willing to do that, but they basically did just short of it and they gutted. Everything inside the White House is rebuilt. So I'm sorry if I'm ruining the White House for you or you probably.
No, you're not ruining
Or
the White
anyone,
House for
but
me.
that is my favorite one of my favorite obscure DC facts is that the White House is not old.
That's a good obscure
Thank
historic
you.
fact. Yeah, I like that. I don't have anything like that.
No, you had a good one about the Hyde Act.
Well, I guess maybe. But my favorite weird fact that I like is that Fort Reno, which is
Tenleytown.
in Tenleytown.
On Dylan Joe's Tenleytown door.
Right, thank you. I pay her for that later.
It's
that,
under the table.
Jesse Reno's son was the man who invented the escalator.
Huh.
So
That's weird.
yeah, you read these things, you're like, why would I ever need to know that piece of information? But now I know that piece of information.
Well,
And now 15 people know that as well.
And
so.
we'll forget it immediately.
And
What?
wish that they hadn't
Yeah.
cluttered up the brain with that particular piece of information.
What do you know what Jesse Reno's son's name was?
No. Jesse Reno Jr.?
No, I don't- I was just asking.
I don't know.
Oh, Escalator McGee. Yeah, that was a legitimate
He was-
question.
yeah, no, I don't know, I'm afraid. This goes here.
Did you know that you probably did. Frank Lloyd Wright's son invented Lincoln Logs?
I did, out of spite for his father.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good
Well,
obscure
and
argument.
do you know how many gas stations did Frank Lloyd Wright design?
Ooh, I don't know.
Take a guess.
12.
No.
4.
Keep going down.
1.
One, exactly. And then the question is, how many did his son invent? Or not invent, design?
12.
No, one as
One.
well. Because it shows that up, but it's actually in Huntington Beach, California.
Oh, that's right now.
That's why I know. And it has this long projecting wing that looks
It's
like
just
an
a big
airplane.
middle finger to
It's his dad. Exactly. But so I was driving along on whatever road it's on, I think Golden West, and you drive by, and it's this really weird looking strip mall that he designed as well. So he designed a strip mall, and it's got these little diamond panes. Somebody's texting all over the place.
Oh, it's on
Something.
the laptop, but it shouldn't have done that.
All right.
It's on Do Not Disturb.
All right, I don't know. Hold on. I just make sure it's not my child telling me to please get off.
You're embarrassing
Please get
yourself.
Get off the.
You're like, I know.
Okay, it's all good. It's about a contract, so that's a good thing.
It's what?
About a contract that I have pending.
Oh,
So we made an
Lots of
offer,
love.
and we're supposed to. Well, I don't know if we're going to be a contract yet, but hopefully.
Joe's a realtor.
I'm a realtor too.
If you want to sell your house, go
Yeah.
with this guy right here.
Well, thank you, and your $20 is coming. I think this goes with that house too. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, see that roof with the blue?
This.
That, yes. Can I have that, please?
Oh.
Thank you.
All right.
This
Uh-oh.
goes to-
Wait, hold on. This goes with that.
Oh, great.
This is coming from a question someone.
Okay, somebody's
Ask.
asking a question.
Do either of you know anything about a World War I training camp on 6th and Florida Northeast?
6th in Florida Northeast.
No.
No.
World War I training camp.
No, I only know about.
No, tell us.
They said I think it was a training camp for quartermasters, but unsure.
Huh.
From what era? Like
World
so.
War One.
Oh, right. They said that.
If you
I don't know what a quartermaster is though.
They're like in charge of supplying, managing the supply routes.
wasn't Meigs one?
He was the quartermaster.
Right.
Oh.
Quartermaster General.
That damn right of the Federal Army.
Well, I would think if you were that into your hottie, you would know which one of the World War One.
He was Civil War.
So same thing. If you really Civil War, World War
Oh
One,
my
World War
god.
Two, Cold War.
You're
it's all
fired.
one- it's all
I just dropped all your Legos. Sorry. I don't, but that's very interesting. There were you probably know this, all these temporary, well, supposedly temporary government facilities along the National Mall, like on either side of the reflecting pool,
Right.
for government offices during World War I, and they were temporary, but then they were still there during World War II,
Right.
and then they demolished them in, I think, in the 60s.
Yeah.
And they used to have bridges over the reflecting pool, so you could walk from the north side to the south
They
side.
should put back in.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
That would be very helpful. And they also had train tracks running in there.
Yeah.
Running through. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great question. You did definitely stump the chumps on that. So that's
Plural.
Yeah, you got both of us on that one.
Now I'm gonna go do a whole bunch of research. After I get
And
this.
whoever it is that asked that, if you're still on, make sure you DM me on one of the, on some channel, so that once we get that answer, we will do a video about it, because that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that Joe and I are on the hunt for right now are the ruins of the Murdoch Mill. The Murdoch Mill. The ruins.
The
of
Murdoch Mill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, if you live in Northwest DC like we do, there's a road called Murdoch Mill, and there was an actual mill and a family. And I thought I had found them, but I was wrong.
Yeah, it's down near Sibley. It's also behind the Dale Carlia water.
You haven't physically.
We've not gone there to find it yet.
Joe and I like to go tromping in the woods, looking for weird stuff,
Right. Well,
like
and then
bridge
Nadia-
abutments.
They have a barbed wire fence around Sibley, from the woods.
There's a barbed wire fence around the woods in Sibley. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because of us.
Yeah.
It says, keep out Joe and Carolyn.
Specifically Joe Himali.
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube scram.
Well, have you seen that the Instagram channel Decaying Midwest?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some scary stuff. They went to Michael Jordan's house. Did you see when they went to Michael
No.
Jordan's house, which is up for
He
sale?
doesn't live there anymore, is he?
I hope not, the way it looks. They went to the basketball court and it's flooded, like it's
Ugh.
a foot and a half of water in the basketball court in the basement of his house, which I don't know is how often it is that professional basketball players have basketball courts installed in their house. But when we saw Bradley
Must be all
Beal's
the
house, you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bradley Beal's house had that too.
Oh, here's the flag. Sorry.
Well, there's the flag, but where is Lady Freedom or the Statue of Freedom?
Statue of Freedom. She's probably in one of these.
Yeah, so I think these belong to that same building, right? The one with that weird roof.
I'm still trying to fix your White House.
Okay.
I actually have this set, but I haven't started building it yet. Or I started, but then we moved to it. We had other projects. So this is like a preview.
My favorite thing that I have about Legos is that this is part of the set for Hogwarts, and this is the Parliament
Ben?
building, Big Ben.
Yeah.
Although, what is Big Ben actually? You know the answer to that, right? Big Ben is not the tower.
It's just the clock.
No, it's not the clock.
I don't know.
No, it's not the clock.
I'm an
It's
American historian.
It's a bell. It's the bell. The big,
Oh, no,
Big
I
Ben
didn't
is
know
the
that.
bell.
Okay.
And they use pennies to balance it so they can stay on for balancing the clock. So
Are you a
so they keep
Tory?
on time. Am I Tory? Secret. When the Revolutionary War, you don't know this, I'm a time traveler, and when the
You are very old.
And-
We've established this.
and when you had to you had to sign the oath to
Yeah.
be part of the United States, or
Yep.
else you'd lose your land, and that's why Stoddard lost the land in
Mhm.
friendship.
Yep.
Yes.
And
So-
that's why you changed your last name to hide.
That my Tory heritage. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I've been
All
caught
those
out.
Jews from Boston.
Yes. That's it. What the hell is this to?
That's what you want to hear. Where does this go on the White House?
That is this is part of the balcony that goes
Truman balcony.
yeah, it goes right over that.
Over here?
Yeah, it goes over that. So you got to flip it over. Yeah. And then that goes
Like that?
other way around. Yes.
Like that?
Yes. And the reason why it has those
Yeah.
two go into this.
Oh.
That's
I
what
see.
holds it into place.
Oh. Great. Thank you.
Another piece is just fallen
This
off.
is very helpful.
I'm Joe Himali with Best Address.
I'm Carolyn Muraskin with DC Design Tours.
Yes, and again, if you're just joining us, which support people that have suffered through hearing this 90 times, this is our very first live cast.
And maybe our last, based on the 14 people. But God bless you.
15.
15. Thank you,
Sorry.
number 15, sweet 15. We really do appreciate it. Hold on, what time is it now? It's 7:52. We only have 8 minutes left. Okay, speed round. Let's see. I think I had some questions. Okay, what is your favorite brick bond pattern?
Herringbone.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that a bond?
Is that a bond?
Yeah, herringbone. You know,
Is that a bond?
it's a bond. What do you want me to say? Flemish?
No, I don't know. I guess I never considered herringbone as a bond.
It is a bond.
All right, Google that.
What's yours? You judging me?
English bond.
Oh, lame. Too easy. See, you are a Tory. First.
Because how many English bond walls are there in DC?
I don't know.
One.
Where?
Well, where do you think it is? What
Tudor
quadrant?
Place.
No, it's not Tudor Place.
Oh, it's not in Georgetown?
It's not in Georgetown.
Oh, I don't know.
But it's an old building. It's a building from the 1700s.
Capitol Hill.
Nope.
Town?
Nope.
Where?
Which quadrant? You've gone through 3 of the quadrants. It's in Southwest.
Okay. Oh, Wheat Row?
Yes.
Ah.
And it's only on one wall.
Oh, yeah, I
Wheat Row.
saw your video.
It's
Is that why you victory? Is that why you like English bond? Because it's rare?
Yes.
Okay.
And because nobody knows what it is and they talk about it, but you never actually see it in real life.
Well, Flemish bond is constantly misidentified.
What do you mean?
So do you know the Yellow Tavern in Georgetown?
The Yellow Tavern.
Or the White Horse Tavern? It's this. It's on our Georgetown tour. It's a building that it has a big plaque on it that says this Flemish bond blah 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 was an inn where George Washington and Thomas Jefferson used to get together and Lafayette used to get drunk, and it's like it has a whole story on it, and it's all a lie. It was the residential home of the head of the DAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution, and the woman who lived there wanted a historic plaque for her house, so she made up this story.
Huh.
And then it was her friend who was the head of the DAR, or maybe it was the Colonial Dames of America. But anyway, she got her friend to verify the story, and then she had this historical plaque put on her house. But it's all a lie. And it only came out that this was a lie. It was in the Washington Post. It was maybe 5 years ago.
Huh.
But the plaque is from the 1940s. And it says on it, among the many lies on it, it says this Flemish bond building, but it's not Flemish bond.
The Flemish bond simply means it has alternating rows that are offset between stretcher and header.
Mhm.
Right? There's nothing else special about.
No, but it's not. It's just regular common bond.
Oh, well.
So lies upon lies.
Yeah, and I think honestly, of all of the lies, that was probably the most hurtful.
Personally.
Personally, the most
Yeah.
hurtful. If you've ever been on my tours, I think we always talk about the bonds that are on there. And when we had our trivia night that we hosted together, the best name of one of the teams was Bond, Flemish Bond. That was a really good name.
There were a couple good
There were
ones.
There were a couple others. What was the other? There was another one. Do you remember what the other one was, Nadia? There was another one that was really good.
It was another architecture fund.
Yeah, those people are much more clever than I am. I would never have come up with that.
They were definitely brainstorming it for a long time. We have to impress Joe.
Well, yes. Oh, we were going to have. When's your next tour? When are you doing another tour? What's going on with you in the near future?
So our group tours are done for the season, but
Okay.
President's Day weekend is when our tour season starts.
Okay.
So President's Day weekend, we have a whole smattering of scheduled tours, and then March 1st.
March 1st. And so if somebody wanted to take a tour with you now, you just tell them to go away or what?
No, I would embrace them with open arms. We do private tours year round.
Okay.
So they can do a private tour now, or they can wait till President's Day weekend.
And so what is a private tour? You can do anywhere or?
Anywhere. We can do any, we have 14 walking tours, different neighborhoods and areas. I even have a history hike. It's my newest one.
Oh,
which is
where's that?
Design tour of Rock Creek Park,
Oh, okay.
which has a lot more architecture than you might expect, a lot more design than you might expect.
Right.
So we have 14 neighborhood tours, and we can do them all privately, just with the group. And then we do lots of custom tours. So if you want to go to Mount Vernon or the National Cathedral or really anywhere, we can do a custom tour for them.
What's the furthest away tour you've done?
Monticello.
Monticello. And did you go to Mickey Tavern when you were there?
We did not, but I know where it is.
Okay.
We didn't have the time.
They just
It was a day trip.
Monticello just took over Mickey Tavern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they better not mess with the chicken there. Because they have the best.
Better not mess with the chicken there.
Yeah, I'm forewarning you now.
And what about you, Joe? When are your next tours?
Well, my next tour is this coming weekend with Tenleytown, which nobody knows anything about Tenleytown generally, but Tenleytown is the second oldest neighborhood in DC. And it's intimately tied in the history of Georgetown because they're on the same road and there's a lot of great history there, a lot of great architecture, including if you've been suffering through this video since the beginning,
God bless.
the Stickley Mansion is on there that we're going to
Dumbling.
Dumbling with an M.
Yeah, not
Dumbling,
with an M.
because you wouldn't want to look like a fool. But
Too late.
most importantly, on Thursday, I'm having a meet and greet so you can meet me in person at the most important shop in DC.
Verdicts?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so
if you ever want to run into me and Joe, mostly Joe, we are often at
I'm
Verdicts.
never there, Shelley. I never go to LA Burdick.
We have loyalty cards.
You're right.
With
But
two
my
ways
loyalty card is empty.
Well, it's because you just got a new one.
No, no. But I'll be at LA Burdick. So if you want to just come back, I'm just going to hang out and talk about history and architecture and meet people and have fun. So we're going to do that too.
Can we ask another question?
Yeah.
Which DC monument do you most identify with? We did columns, or building any.
Which monument?
Or build anything.
You know what?
Structure.
You know what's weird is that I'm not really into modernism, but my favorite places, and it's in the city, is the East Wing building, which is IMP, and where it has that long, thin wall that projects out, and you walk, and it looks like it's just a piece of paper until you get to it. That is one of my favorite places when I have people from out of town come, I always take them there so they walk around that corner and they're like, oh my God, it's about to fall down. When you look at it, it looks like it's going to fall on you. And then you turn the corner and you realize it's actually three-dimensional. It's very cool. That's one of my favorite little spots.
And because you're so angly.
I guess.
Well, I asked what you identified with.
Right.
I was trying to, how do we?
So what about you? What do you most identify with?
I should have had an answer because I asked you.
Turnabout is fair play.
I love, this is a cop-out, but I love the National Cathedral, even though I'm not.
That is a cop-out.
I'm not Christian. But the reason I like it is because it tells the whole story of the nation. So it's not just a religious building, right? It tells religious stories, but then it also tells national stories. And there's so many cool little secrets and details. Like obviously you know about Darth Vader on the dark side of the cathedral, but there's like an Oriole in the Maryland window, and there's a Capitol and Supreme Court in the White House hidden in the stained glass, and all these cool guardrails and grotesques. I love it. Yeah. It's just like there's so many little secrets. And then the Bishop's Garden also.
Bishop's Garden is awesome.
And we do a tour there of the National Cathedral in Cleveland Park.
The baptismal font is from 14 something. Yeah, 1400s. The baptismal font.
Do you have a video of it?
I don't know. Did we? Yeah.
Well, you're looking at Nadia as if she knew.
Well, Nadia knows everything.
Nadia's your brain.
Nadia is where when you think I know something, it's always Nadia.
I know the overflow story.
She's the
I think you're just the story.
She's the cloud, and so I only have a limited amount of memory, and the rest goes to Nadia right away. Yeah. All right. So, what is your favorite Lego set that you built?
Ooh, we were talking about Falling Water before. I really like Falling Water. I don't even like Frank Lloyd Wright because he was a huge jerk. But the set, it teaches you how Falling Water was built, because you built the piers first, and then you build the sort of cantilevered pieces, and then you build it in levels, and it like kind of clips in, and it reflects the way that it was actually built. So I thought that was really clever.
That is really clever. Yeah. Did you know that you're gonna be surprised about this, but it was falling.
Yes.
Falling water, and then they built all the tension. They had to take all the stone up and then replace them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Have you been to the Pope Leahy house?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome to go there and see that. How many Frank Lloyd Wright buildings have you been to?
I've been to many, because I've been to Chicago many times. Maybe like 10.
Yeah.
What about you?
Not that many. I know I'm embarrassed.
I don't even like him. I like Roby House. That's
my least favorite of his.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, I guess it's not because the Roby House itself, but just they're still trying to rebuild it.
Yeah.
And I think they've done as admirable a job with what they can do because they're on a very limited budget, but it just needs a lot more love. And then when I was there and I asked questions of the tour guide, and then
they must have loved you.
Oh yeah, they just loved me because they're like, what is that? And they're like, I don't know. And they're like, but ask the guy downstairs. He's the expert. And I go downstairs and there's like this weird electrical switch that's on the stairwell going up the stairwell. And then it's not a light switch. And nobody there knows what it is. And they're like, but it's just.
You're the only person who's ever asked.
Well, Nadia can attest that generally when we go on tours, the people that we go on tours with, because I've been very fortunate that I've been able to get a lot of behind the scenes tours. And pretty much every time you go there, people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Nobody's ever asked me these things. But they
didn't know what they were getting into.
They did not know what they were getting into.
What's your favorite Lego set to build?
I think, that's a good question.
Any of these that we've made so much progress on?
It's finished.
I'm very mid-century modern.
I'm building Los Angeles after the big quake right here. No, let's see. Which one has probably been my favorite? I think the Chinese movie theater.
Which, for those watching at home, this one.
Yes,
sort of.
that's the
Why
base
did
of it.
Why did you like this?
The roof on it is very interesting because it's a terracotta shingle roof. It is what they're trying to represent. They use these little red cones. It's very skillfully
cool.
thought through the way they did it.
Well, I look forward to rebuilding it
Yeah, maybe if we do another live. Fortunately,
because this one's been such a success.
well, I think it's been a success. We've had some hardy followers, and I'm very, very, very grateful to all of you. What time? It's 8:00. Can you believe it's an hour?
Later.
I-
Time flies when you're having something
Thanks.
fun. That's the word, fun.
Well, thank you so much for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Is anybody typing or anything? Nadia?
It's just a telemetry.
Oh.
I can't see all of them.
Hold on.
But-
We're just
As Joe has said a few
Give it
times.
a minute and see if anyone has any last
we'll
questions.
we'll wait we'll wait another minute in case somebody does have a question, and maybe all 15 of them will have questions, and then we'll be on for another hour. I don't know.
That seems likely.
That seems most likely. In all seriousness, I'm really grateful for those of you who watched. Thank you so much.
And thanks to Joe for having me.
Oh, thank you for
guinea pig this
coming.
with you.
Yeah, it's been an experience. We've never done this before, and everything. Yeah, it's been a whole learning experience for me. But I've had fun, whether it's successful or not. I've had a lot of fun. So
Me too.
and Nadia, hopefully too. Yeah, Nadia's nodding. You can't see that. Anybody making any comments or anything?
No.
No. All right. Well, thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much. Bye.
Bye.